Hello, my friends. Welcome to 3 Minutes of Grace. Today's verse I have for you comes from Proverbs chapter 14, verse 4 through 5. Actually, just verse 4. It says, where there are no oxen, the manger is clean. But much revenue comes by the strength of the ox. And this verse was on my mind today at work. I kept chewing on it all day. So basically what the word I felt was in my heart that Grace was teaching me is that our value is greater than our mistakes. Your value is greater than the messes you have made or maybe even the mess you are currently in. You're more value than the mess. And think about this. And if any of you have kids, how many of you knew when you were having a baby that there will be diapers and there will be dirty diapers? Do we abandon the kid? Do we disown the kid when they poop their diapers? No. Do we like poopy diapers? No. But is the baby not of more value than the dirty diapers? And it's just, I find myself thankful that, I had a son for a diaper to change. I'm thankful that I have a son, and just like at work, I was sharing this with a coworker, but this was teaching me the value of my fellow coworkers, that, the mistakes that people make around here, isn't as much value compared to the person themselves. That you are still more value than the mistakes you've made. And so this teaches me something, practically at work, valuing the people around me, including myself, that I am more value than the mistakes I make at work. That at least I still have an employee who shows up. I'm still a productive employee even though I make mistakes. And so Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10 gives me a perspective of how Christ loves us. Okay, it says, for we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand so that we would walk in them. God knows you're going to make mistakes, but he still considers you his masterpiece. I hope you take that to heart, my friends. Love you.